On December 10th, 2018, Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry announced on the Ringer's Winging It podcast that he did not believe the moon landing actually happened. This is legitimately alarming, as countless Americans look up to the NBA superstar as a hero and as a role model, and now he is simply spreading false information. He is now far from alone in believing in this conspiracy theory, but the evidence that we went to the moon exists, and it's not all that complicated to understand. For one, we literally have a piece of the moon on Earth. Throughout 6 different Apollo missions, NASA astronauts brought back about 840 pounds of moon rock for scientists to study. They're almost completely void of volatiles as well as hydrated minerals. They simply do not exist here on Earth. Also, recreating the lighting in the photos from the moon landing would be nearly impossible here on Earth, even in a studio. In this photo, notice the parallel sun rays with little to no diffusion. The only way to recreate this on Earth would be to light the scene with millions of super bright lasers. Lasers were incredibly expensive in 1969 and still are. Ringing together that many lasers, closer than pixels on a TV screen, simply just isn't feasible and would have cost more than the entire Apollo project by the end of it. Today, we can recreate the lighting with computer graphics, but back in 1969, altering images with computers just wasn't possible. Finally, conspiracy theorists often bring up the Van Allen belts. A Van Allen radiation belt is a zone of energetic charged particles, most of which originate from the solar wind that is captured by and held around a planet by that planet's magnetic field. Earth has two belts, and sometimes others may be temporarily created. So why don't the astronauts burn up while passing through these belts? Well, by 1969, the high-energy electrons injected into the lower Van Allen belt by the Starfish Prime event had decayed to one-twelfth of its peak intensity. In other words, the belt was only one-twelfth as strong as it used to be. NASA was confident that the Apollo crew would be passing through the belts fast enough that the spacecraft's skin and all the instrumentation lining through the walls would be enough protection. They even took a slightly altered route to avoid the bulk of the radiation and carried dosimeters to monitor the radiation levels. Rest assured, the Van Allen belts did not pose much of a danger. The overwhelming evidence that we went to the moon just doesn't give the conspiracy theory a platform to stand on. Saying that we didn't go to the moon is simply absurd.